Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel, and we're back with another match preview, and we're back in general because it's been over a week since our last live, and it's good to be back. I took a week off, to be quite honest with you. I went golfing with some mates and stuff like that, but we're back. I'm delighted to be back. We have a good preview to do. I'm also going to be sticking around as well after this video, this match preview, and we're going to be doing a watch along for the Manchester City and Borussia Dortmund game as well. So anybody watching on YouTube or on TikTok, stick around after this. We're going to be watching Man City versus Borussia Dortmund. But look, lots to get into, in relation to Manchester United. Obviously, we're playing Europa League football, second game of the campaign, and it's away in Moldova to FC Sheriff. And look, it's a very important game so quickly in relation to, Manchester United's Europa League season. And I think, I think we do need a win. We need a win straight away. No messing about. We do need a win. Chris, good to see you. Alex, I see you there as well. Good to see you all in, guys. Dan is in as well. Taffy. We'll get into some of your questions in a few minutes, guys. But yeah, I mean, look, second game already for Manchester United in the Europa League. They're coming thick and fast, and already we do need a win. Disappointing result against Sociedad last week. Look, we all know what happened. Obviously Manchester United didn't play particularly well in the game. But, to lose the game in the way that we did was disappointing. So, look, I mean, we'll take it. We'll take it on the chin, move on, and, try and get a result against Sheriff tomorrow night. But look, I mean, I'm not going to go too in-depth about, FC Sheriff. I won't even pretend that I know a lot about them. Obviously, Moldovan team, Europa League. I mean, we should have way too much for them. We really should. But look, I mean, they've had some good victories in the last couple of years as well. Ten Hag mentioned it in his press conference in relation to them. He said it's quite clear they beat Real Madrid and Shakhtar and that they are capable. We have to make it our game, but we are conscious of that fact. They're a serious and decent opponent, and we have to play our best to win. But look, again, this is standard, managerial, I suppose, press conference talk. I suppose Ten Hag would, be very, very disappointed if we were to get out of Moldova without 3 points. And I don't think we will. I would be fully expecting us to, to go on and get the 3 points. Anybody watching on TikTok, by the way, we are doing. I'm going to do my predicted starting 11, what I would do, and we're doing it on YouTube as well. So I'm going to be bringing it up on the screen. If you want to check that out, link on my homepage, you can head over. We're live there too. But yeah, I mean, look, Manchester United. Look, take the Real Sociedad game out of it. We've been on a particularly good run so far, obviously in the Premier League. Last 4 games, 4 victories on the trot. And I suppose the game against Sociedad, it didn't really stomp us in our tracks. Obviously, there was a lot of changes made to the teams that were playing. GGMU, thanks for the gifts on TikTok. Really appreciate it, man. So yeah, look, I mean, in my opinion, I think we should go strong against Sheriff tomorrow night. And reason for that is, look, I see we don't have a game on the weekend, and we can afford to play a strong team. Given the fact that we don't have a game on the weekend, I think we can go strong. So my predicted 11 is going to be particularly strong, and what I would go for, specifically myself, maybe get your starting 11 into the chat there. Let me know what you think, and of course then I'll give you mine at the end. But look, look, like I said, we have no game on the weekend. I don't think it's going to be a particularly difficult game. I would like to maybe start strong, maybe get a 1 or 2 goal lead, to even more than 2 goal lead, hopefully, and then maybe kick on, maybe bring on some of the younger players, give some game time to maybe squad players that do need it, So let's hope that's what happens. Obviously, European games are never a sort, regardless of what competition you're in. But you would be fully expecting Manchester United to have too much for Sheriff tomorrow night. So yeah, let's see what people are saying. Chris is in. Good to see you, pal. How did the golf go? It went very well. So it did. It went very well. Twigs is in. Good to see you there as well. Chris says our squad is thin. Sociedad was a disaster by the referee. Fred looks lost in that game. Twigs said, I keep forgetting to ask you, but how was the Liam Gallagher concert? Brilliant. Great concert. One of the best ones I've been at now. Why is our game with Leeds postponed, says Chris? So my understanding of, obviously we know that the Queen's funeral is on Monday, but obviously Manchester United are playing on Sunday. But given Manchester United versus Leeds, I think is a tier A game in relation to police presence and the amount of policing that's needed for the game. That's the reason for it being cancelled, because there's an awful lot of policing being pulled from all around the UK to go to London for the funeral of the Queen. So that's the reason for it. But again, look, I'm very disappointed about it. I have to say, I think the Premier League have made a couple of big mistakes over the last few weeks in relation to the Queen dying. There was no need to call games off last week. We've seen other sports and how much of a good tribute they give to her. Horse racing, rugby, cricket, all had games continue and give a obviously I'm not English, but in sense to in relation to to being British, I suppose, it would have been seen as a good send off. So there was no real need to call games off last weekend. And in relation to this weekend's game against Leeds, obviously it's a tier 1 game. I understand that. Okay, if that one can't go ahead, then why don't we play the Crystal Palace game? In Old Trafford, or there could be another game that we could play. There's no need to call off another Premier League game. I just don't think it really makes sense. I really don't. And I think it's going to be 21 days before Manchester United, play another Premier League game, from one to the other. So it just doesn't make sense to me. Cottle is in. Good to see you, man. Party Pooper there as well. Lack of police resources, he says. Yeah. Chris. So Chris has his starting 11 in De Gea, Malacia, Varane, Martinez, Delo, Casemiro, Ericsson, Bruno, Sancho, Ronaldo, and Anthony. And Cottle says Real Madrid lost to Sheriff last season. They certainly did. Let's see. What other people are saying here? And good to see so many people in on TikTok here as well. Luke says, love the content, bro. Appreciate it, man. What game are you watching, says Harry. So, Harry, we're going to be doing a watch-along in about 20 minutes, 25 minutes we're just going to watch Man City and Borussia Dortmund. Haven't done a watch-along since the Arsenal game for Manchester United. So, just to get back into the swing of things before tomorrow night, we said we jump on and watch it. I'm going to be going live on YouTube as well, where I have the scoreboard, the timer, ticker tape, all of that kind of stuff. Link is on the homepage if you want to head over there and check that out. Anyone that is watching on YouTube, if you want to stick around for the watch along, you don't have to do anything. Once I end this stream, it'll automatically be kicked over into the watch along lobby. So just stick around. Let's see. Paul is in. Good to see you, man. Paz in. What do you think of this North versus South idea? I think it's the biggest load of shit. So for anyone that doesn't know, Chelsea's owner was speaking the other day, and he's an American owner, and he's been talking about potentially doing an all-star game, in the Premier League halfway through the season, or at the end of the season, where maybe North versus South play against each other, to raise money and this kind of stuff, and and it's not raising money for charity or any of that. It's basically just to raise money for clubs, and it's a cash cow, and it's just totally American, and it's something I have absolutely no interest in. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. Now look, if it happened, it would be an unbelievable spectacle. But you look at any game that is played in. It would, what it would give me the feeling of? It would give me the feeling of a kind of a soccer aid game. There'd be no passion in it. There'd be no, fans wouldn't give a shit. No one would be supporting anybody. So for that reason, it's just a complete American thing, and I wouldn't be into it, I have to say. Let's see what other people are saying here. How many games were called off, says Christian? I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. But there has been a good few. Please smash a like on the video, by the way, guys, if you haven't already done so. Helps the channel out an awful lot. Anyone watching on TikTok, let's try to get us to 5,000 there before the end. If you are watching on TikTok as well, and you do want to stick around for the watch along, just stay put. I'm going to pause it for about 5 minutes while I get set up. But by all means, I'll still be here. Twig says, I doubt the Queen will be delighted in the afterlife that United versus Leeds was called off. And Chris says, weren't we supposed to play Palace at Palace? We were, but I mean, look, if you can call a game off that quickly, surely you can, put another game on. Um, Party Pooper said it's like WWE SmackDown versus Raw. And Chris says he doesn't even know what players come from his academy. He said De Bruyne came from the Chelsea academy. I know. But look, we have to deal with that, really, don't we? So look, we're going to get into our starting 11, guys, for Manchester United's game tomorrow night against Sheriff. Again, for anyone who hasn't, put your starting 11s in, and we'll read them out here. And for anybody watching on TikTok, if you do want to see us, we're putting them up on the screen on YouTube. We're live on YouTube as well. Click on the link on my homepage. We're live over there. I'm going to be putting them up player by player. And we're going to give you a score prediction as well. So let's get your score predictions in too, guys. So look, obviously, Manchester United tomorrow night, obviously in the goal, I'm going to start with David De Gea. I don't think there's any reason to change. Obviously, we do have a new goalkeeper in Dubravka. But look, I don't see any reason to change so far. David De Gea and the back four have been doing well so far, and we've seen what happened when we've changed the back four, against Sociedad. Now, look, I'm not saying the back four were at fault in any way, because it was a freak penalty, that we gave away. But no, I think the more these players can get under the belts with each other, the better. So I'm going to stick with De Gea. Right back, I'm going to go again with Delo. I think he's been playing really well, so I don't see any other reason to change him out. Again, these decisions that I'm making are all based on the fact that we have no game on the weekend. So, if we did have a game on the weekend, we may be making, I probably would have made a lot more changes than what I have here now, but I'm basically going with the strongest team I possibly can. I'm going to go with Malacia left back. Again, look, he's been playing well since he came in, and again, I think if we're going to be playing a certain way under Ten Hag with a certain style and a certain a certain amount of players playing week in, week out, I think the quicker we can get the maximum game time into some of these players, the better. So I'm going to go with Malacia there. And Varane and Martinez then to start at centre backs. Again, look, copy and paste for what I said about Delo and Malacia. They're forming a very good partnership, and the more game time we can get under their belts, the better. So yeah, I'm going to go with that. So in midfield then, I'm going to start with, as CDM, I will put Casemiro in. Casemiro as our CDM, with Eriksen playing beside him, and then Bruno Fernandes playing just in front. Look, it's only a matter of time before Casemiro, nails down that role, regardless of how well Scott McTominay has been playing the last few weeks. Look, there's no comparison. There really isn't. So I'm going to go with them three. And again, look, I think we've seen a good, I suppose, chemistry forming within that midfield. Now, I have to say, Scott McTominay has been pivotal to that in the last maybe 3 or 4 games, specifically in the Premier League. He's played quite well, and for anyone who watches me, regularly, I would be his biggest critic over the last maybe 12 to 18 months. But I have to say, the last 3 or 4 games in the Premier League, he's been absolutely phenomenal. But look, I think the sooner we get Casemiro in there, the better. So, let's get him in. Let's get him in. Now, and up front then, our three up front. On the right, I'm going with Anthony. Obviously, look, showed his class against Arsenal for the goal. So, look, again, let's get him in there. Let's get a bit of confidence and a bit of game time under his belt. Let's see what he can do. The more game time, again, he can get, the better. And the more confidence he will bring into the Premier League. So I would get him in there straight away. On the left-hand side, I'll do the middle first. So through the middle, I'm going to go with Cristiano Ronaldo, obviously. Obviously, Ronaldo is looking for goals. He hasn't got one yet, but I think once he does get one, he'll kick on. So I think it's overdue, and I think this would be a perfect game for him to kick on and get a goal, or maybe 2 or 3 even. So I'm going to go with Ronaldo. And then on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, I'm going to go with Garnacho. Reason being is, I think he deserves a bit of game time. I think he has the qualities to get game time for Manchester United. So I'm going to go with Garnacho to start on the left-hand side. I think this would be a perfect game for him, to come into the team, could potentially go out and get a goal, maybe an assist. build a bit of confidence for the young chap. Look, the Europa League and the cup competitions are mainly where these youngsters are going to be playing. So, I think it's the right time to bring him in and actually give him a run. And it does look. Obviously, we've already said there's no game on the weekend, but it does give the likes of Sancho a rest. Maybe if he needs one, he more than likely doesn't, given it's so early on in the season. So yeah, that's my starting 11. Let's see what people are saying here. Twig says 40-0 to United. 4-1 United over Sheriff, says Chris. And Twig says, I genuinely think we might lose. I hope we don't. Let's see. All right. Scott up front. Yeah, you're messing, dickheads. Dan says, I'd like to see Zidane in the game. Kid deserves a chance alongside Garnacho. I totally agree with you there, Dan. I'm not 100% sure if he actually travelled. Let me have a check. I don't know if he actually travelled or not. Let's see. See, can I find it here? Let me see. Hello, Chicken Nuggets. Thanks for the gift, pal. Appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see. Squad announcement. Maybe someone can tell me even quicker while I'm looking for it here. Defenders, midfielders. Oh, Zidane is there. Yeah, so Zidane is there. So look, I'm all for it, And like we were saying at the start, I mean, if we can put a strong team out, go 2 goals up, maybe 3 goals up even, then happy days. And bring on the young lads. And I would have no problem with starting Zidane in the middle of the field. Absolutely not. I just think, given the circumstances around the first game and the fact that we do need a win, I would go all out for an early lead, and then bring on the young lads. Once we're settled into the game. So that's what I would do there. Paddy Kaz says Mason Greenwood ? I don't know what that means. Is there something going on, Paddy? I haven't heard that. And Chris says this is not the game to play Iqbal since we lost our first game. We need a win. And the Scotia game, we can do that. Yeah, well, look, I think the quicker we get points on the board, the better. And, just kick on, because look, I don't see it as being a group we don't get out of, but I think it's very important that we do finish top of the group. Reason being is that the top person or the top team in each group skip the last 32 playoff game. So if we finish top, we go straight into the last 16, which is very important. It takes pressure away, a couple of extra games out of the schedule. So I think that's important that we do that. So yeah, that's my starting 11. Good to see, what some of you. Let's see what some of you are saying here on TikTok. How can we introduce our young talented footballers to international? Says you. I don't really understand what that question is. If you want to clarify, let's see. Let's see what other people are saying here. Philly says, you're playing a club that wouldn't get into the Premier League if they were championship level. Get a grip. Well, sure, Philly, just scroll on then, man. I mean, what the fuck? You know what I mean? United must buy Bellingham, says Sheriff Dahl. Well, he would be a brilliant signing. I mean, I think every top club in the world is going to be after him next summer. I said it this year. A lot of people were saying, some United should go in for Bellingham in the summer just gone. And I basically said, look, Borussia Dortmund don't let two of their top players go every year. It's one player per season. This year it was Erling Haaland. Next year it is going to be Jude Bellingham. So everyone is going to be on high alert for him. Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus, PSG, Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, United, they're all going to be in for him. So we just have to wait and see. He would be an absolute fantastic signing. So yeah, let's see what happens. I'd be surprised. Cottle says, I think Greenwood was listed in the under-21 squad on the Manchester United website. Okay. Interesting. Well, look, let's see what happens with Greenwood. I don't really want to comment on it because, you know, it's obviously it's a very touchy subject and you don't want to get caught up in it. We'll see what happens. I mean, once it breaks, I'll let you know. You know what I mean? Once we're live and it breaks, I'll let you know, absolutely. But as of now, you know, I don't really know any updates on him. So let's just keep it at that. When is the next Premier League game, says Aaron. So Aaron, as far as I'm aware, our next Premier League game is away to Manchester City. Yeah, let me double check that. I'm pretty certain that's the next away game for Manchester United. Let's see. Premier League, Manchester United matches. Yeah, on the 2nd of October. So we're looking at 2 weeks from Sunday. So 19 days from today. I mean, it's a massive, massive gap. And the Premier League have really made a blunder on that, I have to say, on calling off, especially that Leeds game. Should have never been called off. It really shouldn't. So yeah, big blunder there by the Premier League. Thoughts on if Greenwood came back? Well, look, if he comes back, if he's proven innocent and he comes back and plays for Manchester United, Tony, I'd support him. You know, if you know he's playing for Manchester United, I'd support him when he has the jersey on. You know, I'd support anybody who wears the jersey, you know, and gives their all for the club. And look, if he's proved innocent, he's proved innocent. Time will tell. Will he come back? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Chris says, I think McNeil should get at least 40 minutes. Yeah, well, look, again, Chris, that's something that I would like to see. You know, hello, Chicken Nuggets. Thanks for the gift. Really appreciate it, man. But yeah, it's something I really would like to see. The likes of McNeil there. McNeil, Iqbal, Garnacho, these young players getting game time. You know, and these are the games to get. So if we can, you know, start a strong team, go out early, you know, go out, get an early lead, maybe 2 goals up at half time, maybe get an early one in the second half, you know, bring on the young lads. Hello, Chicken Nugget. Thanks for the gifts. Really appreciate it again, man. So yeah, let's see what we're looking at here. Is Bellingham a good signing? I personally think he's a bit overrated. Oh, I don't know about that, Chris. I think he's a good signing. We need a striker before we need Bellingham, says Chris. McNeil is a serious talent, says Cottle. I love McNeil. It's bollocks that football got cancelled in the first place. I agree. Right, guys, so before we go, again, anyone watching on YouTube or on TikTok, we're going straight into the Champions League watch along for Man City and Borussia Dortmund here. So if you want to stick around, anyone watching on YouTube, just stay there. Once I end this stream, you'll be kicked into the next lobby. So just hang around. Anyone on TikTok, I'll just be pausing it for about 5 minutes and we'll be right back while I get set up. So let me know your score predictions, guys, before I put mine up for Manchester United versus Sheriff. A few people have put your score predictions in already. Get your score predictions in. What do you think it's going to be? Me personally, I am going with I'm going with a 3-0 win to Manchester United. Hopefully, we will, like I say, get an early goal, kick on, bring on some of the youngsters, get some of the squad players in that need a bit of game time, and you know, kick on and you know, and go from there. So yeah, that's my score prediction, guys. And look, it was a short preview. There's nothing much we can really get into when we don't have you know, real. It's not. I don't want to be disrespectful to Sheriff that we don't have real opposition to, you know, to highlight or anything, but you know, I mean. You can clip this all you want. If we don't beat Sheriff tomorrow night, we don't deserve to get out of that group. You know, we really don't. So I see that was the big one. So look, let's hope we can go out, get a victory, see what happens. You know, get 3 points on the board and kick on. Hopefully finish top of this group. But yeah, look, we're going to leave it there, guys, for the preview of Manchester United versus Sheriff. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a watch along now, straight in. We're going to watch the Man City and Borussia Dortmund game together. So anyone watching on YouTube, just stick around. You'll be kicked automatically into the new lobby. I'll be back in 5 minutes and we'll hit the road. Anyone on TikTok, stay there. We're just watching the game. See you in a sec, guys.